right.
Hey, everybody, John Harris here with my pal Billy Smith, and we're going to give you our rundown for the NFC. We've already done the AFC. You can look those up on either YouTube or Facebook, or um, you can listen to the podcasts on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcast, or streaming radio at Simplecast Streaming Radio. Then you will look it up from the emblem behind me and Bill from the cheap seats, which is where we're at. Woohoo! And because the only way you're going to get cheap seats to an NFL game is preseason. That's about it.
That's about
Everything
it.
else is, you pretty much your income if you have one. So you won't have much of an income for net profit if you're using it on watching the NFL live at the stadium. So we go from the cheap seats where it's easier for us to do things. Before we start, let's thank our sponsor, my pal Dennis and Graldi at Vineland Realty Corporation in Vineland, New Jersey. 634 East Landis Avenue in Vineland at 08360. If you're in the South Jersey area and have a real estate need, whether it's buying, selling, renting it out, leasing it, or finding some business real estate needs, let Dennis and his crew know. Again, at 634 East Landis Avenue in Vineland, New Jersey. Their number 856-690-9482. Thank you, Dennis, and all the crew down there at Vineland Realty for sponsoring us week in and week out, and month in, month out. And now, Dennis, it's gotten to the point where it's year in and year out. So we appreciate that and all the support you guys have given us. So, but let's get right to business here. And as we talk about the NFC, let's start with the East, Bill. You have Philadelphia, Dallas, the Giants, and Washington. What order do you think?
Ugh, this is a tough division, this one here.
Yeah, it is.
Um, I think with the Eagles, I think they're going to take a step back a little bit. Not much, but they're going to take a step back.
Okay.
Losing the offensive coordinator and
They lose
but
both
offensively,
coordinators, really.
yeah,
Yeah.
both coordinators. So I mean, so I know I did this last year and it came back to bite me.
And it bit you. Yeah.
Um, but you know what? I'm changing my mind. I'm taking the Eagles first.
Oh, is that a last minute change?
The last minute change.
There it is.
Um, we got how about them Cowboys second?
Okay.
And then this one it could be a coin flip. Um,
Yeah, this
I
one's
think I'm gonna
closer than a lot of people make.
I gotta go with my Commanders and then the Giants bringing up the rear.
Okay. I went Giants and then Commanders, but 1 and 2 we're right. We're right on it. Um, I took Philly, then I took Dallas. But like you said, I was very close to taking Dallas than Philly. I think both are going to get in the playoffs, but um, I was very close to flip flopping that as well. So it could be interesting. I think Dallas has improved. I think Mike McCarthy is going to have a completely different game plan, and um, Pollard's going to get the ball more as well. So I think if their defense holds up like it did last year, it wouldn't surprise me if they do win the division. And I think Washington's going to improve, even though I picked them last in the division. I think the key for the Giants is that they were able to re-sign Barkley. And I think they've drafted a really good young receiver. So, and they signed Waller at tight end, right?
Yeah, tight end Waller. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's going to help them.
I think Dallas is all comes down to Prescott. If
Yeah,
he's like the same old Prescott, they're not
he
going to make
throws
it.
15 interceptions like he did last year, then they're not going to make it. Um, but if he tailors that like he said he's going to, if he cuts down on those, then they could have a shot. And McCarthy his offense throws a lot more, almost like an Andy Reid offense, swing patterns, short passes. Every so often you take the downfield shot, but so I think that'll help him on the interception front as well.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah. Washington, I think, is like we said, it's going to improve. I just don't know if they'll improve enough this year. I think they need another year under their belt. Um, but I think they're going to improve. They're going to be right there with the Giants. And again, it wouldn't surprise me if this goes Dallas, Philly, Washington, Giants. I mean, it could go that route.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
It just
there
depends
it
on if Hal, steps up from last year and
yes. If he
plays
takes a
well.
step forward, then I think they're going to be a much improved ball club. Let's go to the north, Bill, where we've got Chicago, Detroit, Minnesota, and Green Bay. Green Bay,
Oh,
first time in a long time without either Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre before him.
yeah. And they got Jordan Love as their quarterback,
Yeah,
and still, the report's still out on him. I'm not too confident that he could get the job done.
yeah.
And but my order is going to be Detroit Lions will win the division.
Ooh-wee. How about them
Yeah,
Lions?
yeah. We will go with the Vikings for second, and that was going to be close because I think the Bears are going to improve too. So we'll go to Bears three and the
Green
Packers
Bay
packing
four.
it
The
in.
Packers packing up the rear. I'm gonna. I though I think Detroit is much improved. I'm still gonna. Jefferson to me is the key for Minnesota, as well as Kirk Cousins really went to Minnesota and became an underrated quarterback. I think. I mean, he still puts numbers up
Yeah,
like
very underrated. Yeah, yeah.
yes. Um,
And I got that hookup in one of my fantasy leagues.
Cousins and Jefferson.
Yeah, Jefferson and
Oh man.
Cousins. Yeah,
Oh man. That could tear it up. Um, then Detroit, but Detroit and Chicago could be close. All three of them teams could be close because Chicago upgraded their offense. They finally got some
right.
weapons for Justin Fields.
Yeah, they got DJ
Now,
Moore from the Carolina.
yeah, and a couple nice draft picks as well. It they could make a run. Their defense is still pretty good too. But then I'm with you on Green Bay. I think they don't have enough weapons for Jordan Love. Plus, he has to prove himself yet to me. So this
Right.
season's going to be his prove it season. I really believe that. Um, so I've got Minnesota, Detroit, Chicago, Green Bay. So we've got a difference. Let me see. We got a difference here in the East. Well, two differences really. And we have two differences in the North. Let's look at the South where you have Atlanta, New Orleans, Carolina, and Tampa Bay.
And I believe this division is probably the worst in football.
You are probably correct. You are correct, sir.
Yes, sir. But I think the best team in that division is the Saints.
Okay. And I've already got them listed over here. I think Atlanta's improved, and I think they're improving. So I'm going to take them as number two.
Yeah, I take Atlanta also at number two.
Then Carolina, Tampa Bay is curious because Carolina is going to start the rookie, Stroud. Tampa Bay is going with Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield, who's terrible.
I don't know. He's terrible. He's terrible. I don't know if he's terrible. I really don't. I mean, he
uh,
did
he hasn't
decent with
done
the
all
Rams.
that.
I mean, he did decent with the Rams the second half of the season. I like anybody else. I think he needs weapons, and I think he needs a line. Um,
He needs an attitude adjustment. That's what I mean.
well, I think he's made the attitude adjustment because I think he knows this is his last shot. That's the other part is he's going to be playing for his career, not just a job. If he wants to remain a
Right,
starter, he's going to have to, really step it up a little bit. I mean, but I like Baker. I mean, but he is one of them guys you either really like him or you really don't.
right.
Um, I do. I like him. Um, I'm going to go with Tampa third, and Carolina fourth. because of the rookie quarterback. I think he's got.
Yeah,
Plus, they
yeah,
lost DJ Moore, like you said. So
yeah, I totally agree. I mean, they picked up a receiver in Jonathan Mingo, I believe his name is, but the offensive line is terrible. I mean, Miles Sanders is not going to have running room.
no, that's the other thing. They picked him up, but he's not going to have anywhere to go.
No, so yeah, I'm going to have the same order. So we're
We're right on
even
that one.
even with that.
Okay, go Baker.
Yeah.
And then in the West, we've got the Niners, the Rams, the Seahawks, and the Cardinals. The,
Um, yeah, this is
oh,
a 50-50 division here. Two great teams and two crappy teams.
yeah, it is. That's true.
Um, with that being said, as we always say,
As we all, that's true.
we're,
That's
we'll
my
go
favorite
we'll go
line.
with
With that being said,
the
we go with
49ers will win the division.
yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Seattle will finish within a couple of games of them.
Okay.
And now the other one would be a coin flip between the Rams and Cardinals. Cardinals are really bad, so I think I'll go to Rams and Cardinals.
I'm gonna pick an upset here. I'm gonna go with the Rams number two. I
Hmm.
think I think Gino had the season of his career last year. And I think people have seen enough film now. They've seen enough stuff. Um, the only thing I will say, well, you know what? I might have to change that. You're absolutely right. I just thought of something. Cooper Cup is probably going to be out for a
Yeah, he's
while
banged
longer.
up.
Yeah, a while longer. So I had Seattle, then I switched it to the Rams, but the more I think about
Well,
it, without Cooper
yeah,
Cup,
I mean, I
weapons,
agree with you with Geno Smith. I mean, I think he overachieved last year,
yeah,
but they also just drafted a nice receiver, so
yeah, and they already have two of the
he's
best
got
elite.
another weapon. So
Yeah,
I think Seattle will be they'll probably be like 10-6. So I
yeah,
think that's
yeah. So we end up being the same on that one as well. So all right, so let's do what we did the other day and look at the playoff situation. Um, we're both saying that Philly's going to get in as a division winner.
right,
Um, we're both saying, well, no, we're not both saying. You're going to say Detroit's going to win the division.
right.
I'm going to say um, Minnesota still one more year for Minnesota to do something. We're both saying New Orleans in the South,
Hmm.
and we're both saying San Francisco in the West. Um, then we've got wild cards, which we got to pick what, three, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna go wild card wise, Dallas. Um, since I picked Minnesota to win the division, I think Detroit's going to get into wild card. And I'll tell you, I'm tempted to take. Oh no, I since I took San Francisco, I think you got to go with Seattle for the wild card. Then it's a matter of the order you want to put them in. I think San Francisco, in my mind, is going to be number one in the conference. Um,
I do too.
I think Philly would be number two, Minnesota three, New Orleans four, because that's your division winners. You got to have them one through four. Then I think top wild cards probably Seattle, then Dallas, then Detroit. That's mine. So I'm going Niners, Eagles, Vikings, Saints, Seahawks, Cowboys, Lions.
All right, my wild cards. Well, firstly, my first seed is San Francisco.
Right.
Philly, second seed. New Orleans, the third seed, and Detroit as the fourth seed.
Ooh. Okay, so we got a little difference there.
And wild cards, I got Dallas with the fifth seed, Seattle with the sixth seed, and Minnesota with the seventh seed.
Okay, so we do have. Well, we knew we were going to have a couple differences anyway because we picked a couple different teams. So in that scenario, in my case, San Francisco would get the bye. Philly would have to play Detroit. So I would have Philly versus Detroit, and I would have Philly edging them out. Then let's see, that's 2-7. I want 3-6, which would be Minnesota and Dallas. Ooh. Of course, it would be in Minnesota because they're the division winner. As much as I don't like them, I gotta think Dallas will win. And that makes it Seattle against New Orleans. And I think that's going to be Seattle. In your case, you would have Philadelphia versus Minnesota.
I would probably. That's tough.
That's a tough one. That is a tough one, to be honest with you. It would be in Philly because
Right, it
it
would
would
be.
be the division winner. Minnesota, you're picking as a wild card.
And yeah, I think I would have to go Philly. Yeah,
Boy, you're struggling with it.
not confident. Yeah, not confident.
Yeah, I wouldn't be overly confident either, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay, 3-6. So that would be New Orleans against Seattle, which is what I have later on in the wild card. But I
right,
have
right.
Seattle, New Orleans. It would be in New Orleans. When I
Hmm.
picked it, they were both. Yeah, I picked it, and I picked Seattle.
Yeah, that would be a heck of a game too. I tell you
I think it
what.
would be. I think it would be.
Um, I I'd probably go Seattle.
Okay.
There's another one, and it could just be
Another
a
one under
fluke.
the. Yeah. All right, and then that would make it Dallas and Detroit.
Ooh,
It would be in Detroit because you're picking Detroit as a.
yeah, I just think Dallas's defense is a little better than Detroit. Actually, a lot better than Detroit. So I'll take Dallas.
Okay. Next round would be, let me see. Philly, if my thing goes right, here's the game that would be really tough, I think. Oh no, it would be San Francisco. Oh, yeah, and lowest I picked Seattle, so it would be Seattle going to San Francisco. And I would have to take the Niners. I'm gonna have to take the Niners all the way through because I picked them to win the conference. Well, I picked them as a 1 seed, actually. Yours would be San Francisco versus who's the lowest ranked? Dallas. Ooh, yours is tough too. Jesus.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And I'll go 49ers.
Yeah. Okay. So we both picked the Niners, just different opponents. Then you got Philly, in my case. Again, they'd be home because it's wild card. Wow. Against Dallas. Wow. And they've already will have played twice.
Yep.
It's in Philly. There's a lot depending on a lot. All right, I'm going to be rooting my balls off for the.
Of
I
course
mean,
you are.
my testicles will be dragging the floor. They'll have to be taped back up and everything else. They'll have fallen off. But when it comes to money, money is money. I think Dallas's defense is better. I think they're going to upset Philly in that particular wild card game. You would have Philly versus Seattle. Holy shit. Yeah, no. Well, because you're picking Seattle to beat New Orleans.
That's right. Yeah.
We're in the second round. So it'd be Seattle versus Philly.
Yeah, I think Philly beat Seattle in that scenario.
Okay. I would think it's a tougher game as well, but not as tough as the Dallas game will be. But I would think that'd be tough too. Again, it all depends on Gino. If he's having a good season playing like last year, that could be.
Yeah.
But like you said, like we both said, I think he's going to take a step back for whatever reason. So then at that point, the last one, well, that is the last two, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, mine would be 49ers against Philly, and I'll take the Niners.
Yep, and mine too. Oh no, mine would be the Niners and Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah. So Dallas, San Francisco, you're taking Philly, San Francisco, and you're going San Francisco. I would too if I was you, because after last year, if they end up playing Philly, they're going to be out for blood. After what happened with the quarterbacks last year in the championship game, a rematch of the championship game. And I think you're right. And I think boy, I think Dallas and San Francisco is a tough matchup. But I think San Francisco will have more to prove. Dallas, it'll be their first time in the playoffs, so Jerry will be happy if they get to the championship game. As long as they try to take a step the next year. Right. So I think it's San Francisco beating Dallas in the championship. You think it's San Francisco beating Philly in the championship, but either way, we both got to the same place.
Right.
So San Francisco NFC champ at my end, San Francisco NFC champ at your end. And what does that do, sports fans? That makes the Super Bowl. I have Buffalo versus the Niners.
Yep.
In the Super Bowl. You have Cincinnati versus the Niners. Woo!
Yeah.
There's an old school rematch, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to bother picking a winner yet, because man, that's tough. That's tough. I would give San Francisco a little bigger edge over Cincinnati. Like in your game. That, me personally, I would say San Francisco maybe over Cincinnati, because you got a Bosa in there who could cause Joe Burrow some problems, and if they didn't improve that offensive line, he's going to take a beating all season. I mean, he took a beating in the preseason, for Christ's sake. Buffalo, a little better offensive line. Jared Allen's a little tougher guy, I think. He runs more than Burrow. And he might have one extra weapon Cincinnati wouldn't have. One more. I mean, they both have decent running back, but I think he's got one more receiver than Cincinnati. But I'm going to say, in my scenario, close game, great game. Oh, I would say San Francisco wins it.
Wow.
In a high scoring game, like 51-48, a field goal or some shit. But I mean, if Purdy's healthy and he hits, what is it, Ayuk and Kittle, and I can't even remember who's on the other side, but it's somebody actually better than Ayuk.
Debo Samuel.
Oh, Debo Samuel. He's got weapons. So to me, that slight edge is the defense.
Yeah, but they won't be giving up 50 points or 45 points. That
Yeah,
49ers
San
defense
Francisco
is
might not
aggressive.
give up. Right. San Francisco might not give up that many points. You're right. But they might score that many.
So you're taking
No,
Buffalo.
Detroit, I'm taking the Niners to win the whole thing.
Oh, the Niners. Okay.
No, I took the Niners.
Okay. I'm taking Cincy.
You're
Win it
taking
all.
Cincinnati to win over
Yeah.
the Niners in the Super Bowl?
They got too many weapons offensively.
They do. They do. Yeah.
Jamar Chase, T. Higgins,
Yeah.
Tyler Boyd.
Tyler
It
Boyd,
just comes down, I think what it comes down to is
Mixon.
the running game. That's what it
Yep.
comes down to because you got to be able to run too.
Yep. So really it might come down to Cook versus Mixon. The only other thing, like, well, no, I have Cook. That's right. It might come down to who's running the ball for San Francisco.
McCaffrey.
Oh, that's right. Oh, Jesus. What am I thinking? Oh, you forget the best back in the league, probably. All round back. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Yeah. McCaffrey, man. But Cincinnati's got Mixon who can run the ball.
Yeah,
And
and
Bo
Pur- and
Samuel.
Purdy and Purdy had a good year last year, but there's no guarantee. I mean, you
There's
got to
no
see if that was a
guarantee
fluke or not.
ever
You
anyway.
know, I mean,
But yeah, I got you. Well, pal, what's all that's left to do is to start picking our games because they're going to happen Thursday, the 7th. The first game, Thursday night in Kansas City. I believe it is the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure it's in
yeah,
KC.
yep, it's in KC.
It
They're
is.
six and a
Okay.
half. They started off a 6.5 point favorite, and I think it went down to 5.5 last I looked.
I might drop another point or two because Travis Kelsey possibly out the hyperextended knee that he suffered in practice. Um, we don't know that for sure. I think they're going to try and say it's a game time decision,
Mm-hmm.
unless they see something tomorrow in an MRI or something. But it was hyperextended, so could be tough. And the Chiefs are still without Chris Jones on the D line.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big loss.
The big loss. So it's in Kansas City, and give me just a second. I got to do something here. 150.
I was gonna say it's probably going to be warm weather.
Yeah. It's supposed to be because it's been hot out here.
Yeah,
But
it's been 95 today.
yeah,
Actually, an index of 101 today.
yeah, we hit that air. We hit that neighborhood. It was, I mean, you walked outside, it was like, whoa,
Yeah,
sauna hit you. So, um, Chiefs, Lions. I'm still gonna go with the Chiefs. I know I'm a Chiefs fan too, so that makes it tough too. But I am going spreads what 3.5 or 5.5, I mean.
last let me check. Last
Okay.
I checked it was let's see what I can find here. Week one. I guess it depends on what line. I mean, what CBS has.
Usually CBS and DraftKings are pretty close. A lot of times they're identical.
And of course, it's just like anything else. You try to find something. Here we go. It's down to 5. Chiefs -5,
Okay.
and the over under is 53. Hmm.
I think I'd go with the over. That's me. It's down to 5.
Yeah,
I would go with, well, I'm going to do Kansas City. What a surprise
to win the game,
to
right?
win the game. And
And do they cover?
5. Yeah, I think they cover. KC covers.
Yeah, because the game's in Kansas City, I
In
will take
Kansas City and
win. But you know what? I'm going to take the Detroit
Detroit
with the
cover.
points, though. Yeah, I think it could be a field goal game.
Kansas City to win, Detroit cover.
And the over-under is 53. Whew, that's a hefty number.
Yeah, but
I mean, if Kelsey plays, I think it's over. If he doesn't play, I don't think it gets there.
I'm going over either way. I'm just going over because you got to remember if Kansas City gets 28 or 31 points.
Yeah, I mean, 31-28. That's
Yeah.
59 points. Yeah, so yeah, I think you talked me into the over also. I mean, neither. I mean, without Jones and Detroit's defense isn't all that great, so yeah, I'll
Right.
take the over.
All right. So you're going to take the over and Detroit to cover, Kansas City to win. I'm going to take the over as well, Kansas City to win and Kansas City to cover on the 5-point spread.
Hmm.
It wouldn't surprise me if that drops even lower if Kelsey's out. If it goes to
Yeah,
3.5 or 4.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So there you have it. Bill and I have made our playoff picks, our standings picks in both conferences, and we've went all the way through the playoffs and have decided, both of us unanimous, though different directions. And remember, these are all subject to change due as we go along due to injuries and things of that nature. But our preseason prognostications at the moment are that in the AFC, it'll be Buffalo to win the East, Cincinnati to win the North. We both picked those. We both picked Jacksonville to win the South. I picked Kansas City in the West, and Bill went with the Chargers. When you look at the wild card situation, I went with playoff situation AFC. I went Buffalo, Cincinnati, Jacksonville, then KC, Baltimore, the Jets, and Pittsburgh. Bill went Buffalo, Cincinnati, Jacksonville, Chargers, KC, Jets, Cleveland. And by the time we got all done, I said that Buffalo would be the AFC champs. Bill said Cincinnati would be the AFC champs. In the NFC, let me see. We both picked Philly to win the East, very close. Dallas to finish second. I took the Giants to finish third. Bill took Washington. I took Washington fourth. Bill took the Giants fourth. In the North, I took Minnesota to win the division. Bill took Detroit. We flip-flopped. I took Detroit to win number 2. Bill took Minnesota to be second. We both took Chicago third, Green Bay 4. In the South, Atlanta, New Orleans, Carolina, Tampa Bay are the teams. I took New Orleans, so did Bill. We both took Atlanta to finish second, so did Bill. And we both took Tampa Bay to finish third, and we both took Carolina to bring it up the rear. In the West, we both took the Niners. We both took Seattle, though I had some hesitation, but I'm going to stick with Seattle. Second, Rams third, and Arizona, I predict, will be the worst team in football. And if they win a game, it's only because Murray came back and they accidentally stepped into something. I think that is going to be the most atrocious tank job we may have ever seen. It's not like Detroit a few years ago. These guys are trying. No doubt in my mind, Arizona's trying to tank. There's no doubt. In the NFC playoff race, we both have the Niners getting the first round bye with the best record, winning their division. Philadelphia 2, we both have that. I have Minnesota 3, Bill has Detroit. I have New Orleans 4. Bill has New Orleans 4. When we look at our 1 through 4 for the rankings. But however, I have San Francisco, Philadelphia, then Minnesota 3, New Orleans 4, Seattle 5, Dallas 6, Detroit 7. Bill's got San Francisco 1, Philly 2, New Orleans 3, Detroit 4, Dallas 5, Seattle 6, Minnesota 7. We both think it's going to go all the way down to the conference finals, Philly, Detroit, Philly, Minnesota. Then when it gets all said and done, we have in the conference championship, I have Dallas versus San Francisco. Bill has Philly versus San Francisco. We both have San Francisco winning the NFC. And when we go to the Super Bowl, I took San Francisco to win. Bill took Cincinnati to win. So Bill thinks the Bengals are going to win the Super Bowl. I think San Francisco will win the Super Bowl. So we do have a difference of opinion there. So that's going to make it interesting the rest of the season. But like we said, remember, folks, standings are subject to change due to injuries and things like that. But there you have it. That is our preview for the 2023-24 NFL season. And we've also picked our first game, which is Kansas City versus Detroit in Kansas City. Right now, the Chiefs are picked by 5. We both took Kansas City to win the game. I take Kansas City to cover. Bill says Detroit will cover the 5 points. And the over-under is 53. And we're both taking the over. So there you have it. We are getting ready for the NFL season, sports fans. We'll drop another show for you in a couple days with the rest of week 1 picks. Enjoy this Thursday night, everybody. It's going to be a lot of fun. Kansas City, Detroit in Arrowhead. It's going to be loud. It's going to be raucous. The good part about it is it's also volume controlled from the cheap seats.
There you go, baby.
There you go, baby. We want to thank Dennis and Graldi, our pal, 634 East Landis Avenue in Vineland, New Jersey. Their phone number, let me get it for you here because I want to make sure that we have the right number. It is 856-690-9482, 856-690-9482 for all of your South Jersey realty sales and or leasing needs. Whether it's business or residential, give those folks a call down at Violent Realty Corporation. Thank you again for tuning in to us, and we'll be here all season. As they say about a German comic, I'll be here all the week. So thanks, everybody. Bill, can you think of anything else before we sign off of here?
Just something that's not sport related. Rest in peace to great musician Jimmy Buffett that passed away a few days ago.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Hopefully he is enjoying a cheeseburger. Yep.
There you go.
And hopefully paradise is Margaritaville. So
there you go.
Vaya con Dios, Mr. Buffett. Thank you for all the music, and thank you for putting out a lifestyle for folks where you can just relax and chill and take a deep breath. And that's really what he was all about. So well said, Bill. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
For everybody at Vineland Realty, for everybody here at Public John Media, and for everybody at the other studio at Bill's remote location, we thank all you guys for tuning in from the cheap seats. This is Bill. This is John. We're saying we will see you later this week for the rest of your week 1 picks, but enjoy Thursday night. It's time
Hold on, folks.
for the NFL.
Ow.